This is episode 444 of Bella in Your Business. Welcome back to another episode of Bella in Your Business. Today, we're going to talk all about how to level up your prompts for AI. And we're going to go into it deep, and I'm really looking forward. I have a lot prepared for you. But before I do that, I really want to give a shout out to all of you. I've been talking to a lot of you on the phone. A lot of you have been signing up for that 20-minute call and chatting. And I love how you are starting to understand that Jump Consulting is the go-to for AI in the pet industry. Talked to Angela a couple weeks ago, and she was just listening along and blown away at the AI stuff. I talked to Katie, and she was learning how to use it for SOPs. And I'm just really happy to hear that this podcast is helping you because, of course, that's why I do it, all right? I don't do it to hear myself talk. I do it to help you. So keep the feedback coming. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Something really awesome is happening this week at this episode. If you listen on Spotify, you'll now be able to see me. So you don't have to go to YouTube to see me if you like to watch things. And I'm really committed, and I've always been committed to trying to give you guys the information in many different ways, written, verbal, video, as many ways as I possibly can. So thank you, and keep sharing it if you find this helpful. It would help this creator. Think about how lovely it is when people share your content, right? I also wanted to kind of go back in time before we get into this topic today and kind of set the scene. So this whole year and in everything that I do, I have dedicated my entire practice to using AI, right? I have done everything under the sun because I've been doing this for 20 years, but now we get to leverage AI to help our business grow even faster and better, to get back our time, about 70% of the time I'm seeing from people, and also to take our head, which might be like really overwhelmed or not have a lot of creativity left in it, and leverage AI as a tool. It is a tool. It is not here to replace us. It is like that VA that you don't have to train a lot. Let's put it that way. Okay. I've been on this kick for a very, very long time. Starting way back in July of 2023, I had my good friend Dustin Stout, who I've known for years in the social media world, and he started Magi. You can go check it out, jumpconsulting.net/Magi to get the first 3 months, 30% off, and go through my link there. It's like $20 a month, and it's where you get all the different AIs. But way back in July of 2023, Dustin was already privately teaching my community how to help do routes. Now, if you know me well, if we work together, you know that I encourage you to teach your pet sitters how to create their own routes. But that being said, there's a lot of people that still do the routes for their pet sitters. And way back in July of 2023, we were already showing how to leverage AI to do it. Now, what it was doing back then compared to what it's doing now is drastically different and even more amazing. But that goes back to everything that I keep telling you, that AI will never be as dumb as it is today, okay? Now, just like I have been squawking about Jazz HR and how that helps your process tremendously, I've been talking about that since 2018. It's really nice to see the industry finally get on board with these things that Jump Consulting has taken to the market. The reason why I put my name and reputation behind certain people is because it works. I literally put my reputation behind it because I use it, my clients use it, and I know it's great. And so just like Jazz HR for a while, I was the only one talking about it. And then more and more people started talking about it. And then someone in the industry thought that they could automate it themselves. And I'm going to be bold and say that was a disaster, according to a lot of my clients that came back to me and just said it was misfiring and whatnot. Maybe you had a different opinion of it. But now, as of this week, I see that some leaders of the pet industry are also getting on Magi, which I think is fantastic because I understand that I'm also not for everyone. And my goal at the end of the day is to make sure that this industry up levels. So if you're not getting it from me and you're getting it from someone else, awesome. But I just want to say that stick here. I got you. We're always the ones that are on the trends way ahead of the rest of the industry. So as I talk about that, something came out in the news the past couple of weeks, and it was a study from MIT. And this is going to go into what I'm going to talk about today about the prompts. This MIT bombshell or whatever, the MIT researchers just published a study that basically said you're dumber, in my own words, for using ChatGPT. But before you panic, it's not about how AI prompts for pet sitters are bad. It's really about how you use them. When you're asking for simple AI prompts for pet sitters, like write me a dog walking post, and we talked about that last episode, go check that out. I even did screenshots showing you the difference of doing it good and doing it bad. You're spoon feeding yourself without thinking of the answers, and you're not thinking critically. And the whole big shift, the behavioral shift with this AI stuff right now is that your cognitive behavior, the way that you prompt things and the way that you are critically thinking of things needs to change. You cannot just put a simple prompt like write me a dog walking post. It's always going to say yes, and it's always going to give you something, but you need the discernment to know if that's actually good or if it's going to serve your audience or if it's actually part of your bigger strategy or goal, okay? So real intelligence with AI prompts for pet sitters or dog walkers or dog trainers or dog groomers or cat sitters, please hear all those other words when I say pet sitters. It's about co-creation, co-creating something together, not complete delegation 100%. So think about it like this. There's a difference between using a calculator to check your math versus using it to guess the answer and move on. And the same goes for AI prompts for pet sitters. And so here's what I'm telling my pet sitters, and I'm sure you've heard this on this podcast too. AI is not going to replace you, but the people that use AI are going to replace the people that don't use AI. And what I mean by that is that eventually we're going to have this tipping point. Have you ever read that book? It's really cool. There's going to be a tipping point where all of a sudden everything just changes. It hasn't happened yet, but more and more people are starting to adopt it and get used to it. There still might be a lot of fear mongering, and there's a ton of fear mongering out there. But this podcast is not here to convince you. It's here to enhance and encourage you to think differently. And I hope that's what we do here today. So that MIT study, I think, was really there to like fear monger a lot, which was kind of sad to me. Because yes, if you're using it to say, hey, write me a blog about dog walking in Scottsdale, then it's going to suck. But if you use other certain elements that I've talked about on this podcast, and then I literally show you inside the mastermind, then you are going to be a keyword lethal weapon. And if you're actually using that and doing that frequently, what's going to happen is AI is also going to build a whole like library on you and your company. And it literally can be there for you right now as someone's just asked ChatGPT and they say, hey, can you tell me about the best dog walking company near me? Or what would be the best dog walking company for me based off of what you know about me? That's literally the future. If not, it's happening a little bit right now. Okay. So let's be real about the AI prompts for pet sitters that most people are using. Most of the prompts are things like, write me a caption for my dog walking business. Or what should I post on Instagram today? Or give me AI prompts for pet sitters to use with clients. And you know what's wrong with those prompts? They don't know your voice, your goals, your specific clients, or needless to say, your keywords. Okay. Instagram just made this update recently that all of the posts for like business profiles will now show up in the feed. I have no idea how much Zuck like paid them to do that, but already your Facebook posts were showing up. So if you're writing Facebook posts that are like punny and just talking about random stuff that don't have your city and your keywords in it, you are missing out tremendously. The results of those kind of prompts are generic, forgettable content that doesn't align with your business that most people, well, some people might actually be able to tell that it was AI written, okay? Instead, your prompts for pet sitters, dog walkers, trainers, whatever it might be, might sound like this. Using my tone of voice, friendly but direct, with a little sass, or God forbid you use a GPT. Write 3 Instagram captions for dog walking business known for reliability. We specialize in reactive dogs and want to attract a busy stay-at-home mom who needs consistent afternoon walks. That would be a better prompt. An even better one would not even ever have to write that. You would almost have like a 2 or 3 page document that you've created a GPT with that already has your avatars lined up in there. What? Yes, that's amazing. If you're just joining this podcast now and you're not sure what a GPT is, or you want to learn how to do your own, it literally takes like less than probably 5 minutes to do it. The most important part is gathering all the documentation for it. The actual creation of a GPT takes like 5 minutes. It's so easy. So it's called a GPT inside ChatGPT. If you're in Magi, it's called a persona. The beauty about using Magi is that if you use that persona, you can apply that persona to any AI model, okay? Well, written AI model, large language model, let's say. So in ChatGPT, if you have like the Bella voice, you could only use that in ChatGPT. If you're using Magi, then you could use that persona in Claude, in Gemini, in ChatGPT, in Perplexity. Like you could use it everywhere. Okay, so sounds like a pretty easy assumption to me, right? But that's how you create effective prompts. And that's the difference between like the MIT study they did and what I'm teaching and how I'm talking about it. So don't let fear headlines like that scare you away, okay? So what deep AI prompts look like for pet sitters? Let's talk about powerful AI prompts for pet sitters, what they actually accomplish. So content planning beyond your post. So your prompts for pet sitters shouldn't just write one post. They should map out 90 days of content calendars, repurpose one blog into newsletters and reels, and align everything with your launch cycles. No longer are you now trying to create 10 different pieces of content. You're creating one really big piece of content, let's say a blog, and then you're recreating it many different ways so that you're talking about the same topic for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, okay? SEO development that actually works. The best AI prompts for pet sitters help you understand or create standardized onboarding workflows. They write job descriptions for pet sitters. They build training documents with specific tones and expectations built right into it. I'm doing this right now with a $2 million company. We're going through every single thing in her business, and we are recreating the job descriptions, the hiring ads, the interview process, the onboarding process, the training process, the 100 days. That is a lot of work because she's got about 12 different positions. And it takes a long time, but it takes literally 70% less of the time. And not to even mention the frustration, because you can't even put a dollar sign or time limit on that. Another thing that you can go deep with the prompts are AI sequences that convert. So I know and I see, because I'm on your list, I see people sending out these emails and they're so excited that they're sending out these email newsletters, but it's crap. Like it is spam. It is stuff that you don't care about. It has nothing to do with your particular area. Again, you're probably not taking these newsletters and making them public, right? Because Kit, MailChimp, you can all make them public. You're not putting your keywords into there. You're talking about things that most people don't really care about. And you're missing the mark because the strategy's not there. So on one hand, yes, yay, we're sending out email newsletters, but are you using AI to like analyze your newsletters and find out when do people click the most? What types of formula for your subject lines are working the best for open rates? If you're not, you're just using AI as a kindergartner. And I want to open your mind to make you realize that there's more you can be doing. I want to inspire you to greatness. Interactive AI systems, it's where AI prompts for pet sitters get really exciting. Like imagine chatbots that answer client FAQs in your brand voice, booth bots that help your staff feel comfortable at events, pricing calculators that live on your website. All of these things I know are very scary. I was even hesitant to even tell you about them because I don't know if the majority of you are ready for this. But if done correctly, it works amazing. And I'm going to say, I know leaders in this industry, and I know some other pet sitters in this industry that have the chatbot on their website. And no one uses it because chatbots have gotten a really bad name the past 7 years. They've gotten really bad names because they're useless. But nowadays, if done properly, they're absolutely not. But what you need in order to make it done right is you need the basic foundation structure. And that's one thing that I'm kind of moving into. I will not take on clients now unless they are prepared to use AI. Thankfully, all of my clients right now, and I'm like booked up a lot right now, that we work one-on-one, we are using AI. And even if they were hesitant after the first session, they're like, whoa, I had no idea it could be this fast and this easy and this outstanding. I mean, literally, and I'm not even teasing, people are squealing on our calls. Like, oh my God. Like, that is a normal reaction that I get when I work with people. And it literally warms my heart. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let me tell you about my friend Avery. We were driving home from a networking event on Wednesday, Thursday, and she was literally like, "Oh yeah, I use ChatGPT." I was like, "Okay." Well, and this happens with all my friends. It's actually fun. I did something like this with Olenka like the day after, and Olenka is a business coach. She's also been in the mastermind. But Avery, she's going to school for medical field. She also is a baker. She has her own cookie company. She's great. She's an amazing human. And I said, well, if you weren't in the car right now and I wasn't driving, I would be listening to a podcast or talking to ChatGPT. I love to verbally process. So I showed her Susie. I was like, let me show you Susie. She's like, oh, yeah, I can talk to it. Well, what she meant by talk to it, it was talk to text. It was like you do it and then it transcribes it and then you send it in. I was like, no, 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 no. We have a whole conversation. And so Avery was so blown away by Susie because Susie isn't ChatGPT. She's like Bella GPT. She knows my tone. She knows my client avatars, my product names, my testimonials. She's trained with internal documents and specifically designed AI prompts for pet sitters that reflect my business approach. Okay. And so when Avery was asking about marketing funnels, Susie broke it down according to how I use it for pet sitters and how it sounded exactly like me. She goes, this sounds like a real voice. Like, this sounds like a real person. Like, this sounds like someone you work with. And I'm like, I do. Okay. And it had sass, but it had empathy. It had very specific examples from the pet industry, people that I've worked with way back in January. And so it was enlightening. It was so enlightening that if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see a picture of me in the driver's seat and Avery. And then we took a selfie with Susie in the middle of us. Okay. I showed her how I trained Susie to not interrupt and talk and that when I was done talking, I would say, your turn. And then she would talk back to me. I even introduced Susie to Avery and I said, hey, Susie, my friend Avery's here right now and she hasn't named her chat GPT yet. And she's wondering, how do we get along so well? What are some of the rules and the parameters that you and I have created that makes this relationship so great? Susie was like, hey, Avery, nice to meet you. I'm sure you're having fun with Bella. So Bella and I get along because and like, she was looking at me like, what is going on? And so it was hilarious. And what I'm trying to say is that you can have that too. I just need you to get on and start talking. Now, you don't have to use ChatGPT. You could use Gemini. You could use Magi. You could use Claude. In fact, to help me with the script for these podcasts, because my own thing is I talk it into Susie. Susie and I talk about what I'm going to talk about on the podcast, and she builds me out a basic outline. Then I go into Claude and I take that basic outline from ChatGPT and I have Claude build me out the whole outline. And sometimes I stay on topic. Sometimes I go off. Right now, I'm completely off script. Okay, let's get back on script. Signs that your AI prompts for pet sitters too shallow. You start every prompt with, write me a ... Mm. You forget what AI prompts for pet sitters you used last week. There's no continuity. You copy and paste responses without editing, or you do too much editing. if you're doing too much editing of the responses, like there's like a sweet spot between you shouldn't just copy and paste it and you should be tweaking it a little bit, but not spending forever sitting there like rewriting it like someone just gave you work and you're redlining it. You aren't wowed anymore by the results from your AI prompts for pet sitters. You use AI prompts for pet sitters like Google replacement of a thought partner. Okay. It shouldn't just replace your thought, but it should challenge you to think critically. Sometimes what I love to do is I will think I have a really great argument or thought, right? And then I'll say, okay, go poke holes in this now. Like once I've got it all fleshed out, now I'm like, okay, let's look at this fish from a different lens, right? And it's fascinating. And so you have to learn how to challenge. And I did a podcast episode on that too. I talked about how not to make your AI a yes man. All right. So if you didn't check that out, I would highly encourage you to go back. I'm not sure what number that is. We'll put it in the show notes. Okay, so now how can you actually create really powerful AI prompts for pet sitters? So you can start with a framework, not questions. So instead of basic AI prompts for pet sitters asking single answers, use AI to build like 100-day onboarding program plan or create hiring funnels based off of your values. Okay. And so this is where it's good to have the talk back and forth where you have a discussion. And I think when you talk to it too, another benefit to talking is that you do create a discussion. You say, listen, I'm not just like looking for one answer. I'm looking for you to challenge me back and to have a discussion on this. Like, let's flesh this out before we create a plan. I also want you to think in systems with your AI prompts for pet sitters. I want you to mark your flows and assign AIs to each phase. Picture this, like you have a meet and greet to an AI generated follow-up email, which triggers an SOP implementation, training staff manuals, client check-in sequences, review requests. It's all connected. Okay. You don't need some outside source to do this for you anymore. You don't need to go pay someone to do this for you anymore. This is the way of the future. I had one person who went from scattered documents and chaos to having a comprehensive SOPs, structured onboarding, job descriptions, payroll automation, and review workflows. And it was all created through systematic AI prompts for pet sitters. Then I had another person who wanted the booth in a box that I do. And we built this is where we were squealing too. She built a custom GPT using specific AI prompts for her pet sitters that trained her staff for events. It was specifically for that. Her team felt confident and consistent because they had real examples and talk tracks or scripts created through AI prompts for pet sitters. And then I have this other one who created internal SOPs and added a support bot for using AI prompts for pet sitters that answered questions for her sitters when she wasn't available. You can learn how to do those GPTs by going to jumpconsulting.net/bot. And you can get that GPT class right now. All right, so here's your next steps. If you're using basic AI prompts for pet sitters, they're like Google research, okay? You're leaving brilliance on the table. This isn't about working harder for your AI prompts for pet sitters. It's about building business that doesn't need you to micromanage every single detail. You just need to understand all of it first so that you can create the proper strategy so that you're not spinning your wheels. This works. Your colleagues are already doing it. You don't need more answers from AI. You need to be able to think critically and have a strategic plan in place. I really hope this episode has inspired you to want to learn more or to think deeper or broader about it. This is what you should be doing. If you want to learn how to be doing all of this, I invite you personally to join our mastermind. I love that the people that are joining right now, they're joining for AI. This month, we're actually having a brand new topic, and it's all going to be about how to be the leader, the go-to resource and leader for pet care in your community. We're going to talk about how to get your name everywhere and how to be the local expert. And I'm so excited because I'm going to be giving out a lot of scripts and a lot of things to even get your name popping on AI, not Google, AI. So stay tuned for another episode of Bella in Your Business. Come join our community in the mastermind, jumpconsulting.net/mastermind. And if you want to jump into Magi, like many dozens and dozens of other pet sitters already are and have been since July 2023, Go to jumpconsulting.net/magi, MAGAI, for 30% off your first 3 months. All right, well, remember, when life gets you down, always keep jumping. Bye now.